Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Carolyn Jennings and Avi Joseph. They are from the Stark County Health Department. Avi, what interested you in going this direction, this path for your life?
So that's a good question. So originally, when I was in undergrad, I thought that I was going to go to med school, which, a lot of people kind of start off on that path.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of realized that the clinical side of healthcare wasn't necessarily for me. And that's when I started getting interested in public health, specifically. And then I ended up doing my master's in public health after undergrad and ended up here. This is actually my first job out of grad school. So.
Congratulations. Where'd you graduate from?
Emory University
Awesome.
down in Atlanta.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Public health is huge, is it not?
It is.
What kind of, without saying anything you're not allowed to say, what kind of challenges do you see that you face in here that might have come as a surprise to you?
Well, for me, I was surprised, I guess, at how comprehensive public health really is. Because, you kind of want to focus on the health of the whole person. But there's so many other factors that aren't, just related to what disease they got. When Carolyn and I are following up with someone, trying to figure out where they might have gotten sick, obviously it depends on where they might have eaten, whether they have kids at home, that type of thing. And, kind of realizing how much, regular life affects your health and the other way around was one of the big things that I figured out about public health.
It's very interesting. And travel. We travel so much now. You could pick up something who knows where.
Yes.
Not to mention the plane. Carolyn, how about you? What drew you to this field?
Actually, when I was in nursing school, I was always interested in community nursing, is what they had called it then. But at the time, you could not get a job in community nursing because once the nurses got there, they stayed. So I went and I worked at an area hospital for several years. And then after retiring there, I decided I was going to try it again.
Good for you.
And so they had an opening. I tried it, and here I am.
Any challenges or changes in the field now as opposed to when you started?
Yes, a lot of changes. They're doing a lot more. Things are much broader as far as different illnesses, and it's definitely a lot different.
Are there new illnesses that we have not seen before?
No, I don't think at this point. We do have things, developments like we've had in the past with the Zika outbreaks, the Ebola, but nothing that we haven't seen before.
Right, and those, again, we go back to travel. So many times people, you feel terrible when you hear about people who are going to be on some kind of mission or do some aid to a third world country and then come home sick. It just breaks your heart.
Right.
And I go back to the airplane. I hate breathing airplane air. And you just hear people, coughing and gagging all around you. What can we do? Does something like airborne help? Because, we all take that before we get on a plane. Are we kidding ourselves or are we helping ourselves by doing that?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I was going to ask, what did you
Airborne. Take that airborne. It's like a fizzy tablet that you pour it in your water, and you drink it before you get on the airplane, and it's supposed to build up your resistance to that guy coughing next to you.
Oh,
well, actually, our recommendations would be when you're flying on an airplane to stay well hydrated. And we suggest 8 ounces of water for every 6 hours you're on a plane. And that seems to keep the immune system intact, so therefore you aren't as susceptible to catch things. Also to wipe off like your armrests, the headrests, the table there on the plane that may have been used by someone else before you.
Very smart. Okay, wipe off. So again, have the baby wipes with you. Wipe off that armrest and the tray table before you're flying. And then just try not to breathe too much. But why hydrated? What does water do for us?
That boosts the immune system. It works if you're well hydrated. They feel your immune system works more to guard off viruses.
So we're putting the fizzy tablets in our bottle of water more for the water than for the fizzy tablet. Is that true?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. What about probiotics? I've heard that they're helpful. But for your faces tell me differently. All right. Tell me why. They're not helpful?
I don't think it's that they're not helpful. It's just taking one thing before, a short plane ride, I don't think would make any real significant difference. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more about, just actively seeking to prevent disease by, proper hand hygiene,
Yeah.
other good health practices.
Proper hand hygiene. Once again, washing those hands.
That's what it all comes back to.
It does, doesn't it? And I think some of us, guilty right here. You resist washing it too much in the wintertime because hands can get so chapped and raw. So invest in good hand cream to have right beside the sink as well, so that every time you wash your hands, you can slap that on as well.
Lotion your hands up, and as long as it's not too much alcohol in it, that would further dry your hands out. But just stay hydrated.
Okay. Stay hydrated. It's so great having the health department here. I just feel like I need to pick your brains on every single question I've ever had about how to stay healthy. But it sounds like you're telling me it's everything we've ever been told, to wash your hands before you eat and drink plenty of fluids.
Yeah.
And how about sleep? Where does sleep play in our resistance?
Sleep is definitely just important in that, it helps you live a healthy lifestyle, But yeah, as far as sleep goes, we would just recommend the normal 8 hours, which I know obviously not everybody gets, but try.
Okay. Go for 8. Exercise, how does that help with our resistance?
Exercise is good. Like in the winter months, you may have a tendency to stay inside because it's cold, but to go out for a nice walk, and as long as you're properly dressed for the weather, light layers,
Okay.
Exercise is good.
I'm thinking, too, if you're going to the health club, then, again, have those wipes with you. Wipe off the machinery before you reach onto and take those handles on anything.
Actually, some health clubs will have those
Yeah,
wipes
a lot
there.
will have wipes, and
Right there.
a lot have hand sanitizer in there, too, so it's
And
always good to
you'll
use.
wipe before using it, and then when you're done, they advise you to wipe it off. And
For the
move to
next person.
machine.
Think of the next guy.
Right.
What is the difference between bacterial infection and a viral infection?
So it's basically just the causative agent is the difference. So bacteria are just a different, kingdom of living thing. They're their own kind of family of organisms. Viruses are, at least from what I learned in Biology 101, they're technically not alive. They have genetic material, but they kind of need another host to propagate. So I think that's the main difference in bacterial and viral.
How is one spread versus how the other is spread?
It depends on the agent. There are bacteria and viruses that are spread in the exact same way,
Okay.
through aerosolized drops or whatever. There are bacteria and viruses that are spread through food or through the fecal-oral route, that type of thing. So it really kind of just depends on, what the bacteria is or what the virus is and what the illness is causing.
Well, right, and so much of what we focused on today is based on spreading, particularly the flu, from one person to the other. But let's talk about food a little bit and how to keep food safe, because this time of year, we're eating a lot of comfort food, and something might sit by a fire, and some things might set out for maybe a little bit too long. What is safe? What is the safe temperature to serve food? What is not safe, and what's too long to keep it sitting out?
Well, we suggest keeping your fridge at 40 degrees or colder, and we also suggest food being cooked well. For meat, 165 degrees, all others 145. And a lot of times we feel we can judge how cooked or how done something may be by just looking at it, the color or the texture, but the safest way to do that would be with a food thermometer.
So invest in a good thermometer, and particularly the meat, 165. I've always said that. And people say, no, it's 145, but that's everything else. Thank you, Carolyn. I knew I was right on that. I'm not going to apologize for waiting until it's 165 before I'll take it out of the oven.
Right.
And then 145 for like the potatoes or something. Okay.
Yes.
Now, also driving around in a car, it's cold outside. And so kind of people feel like, well, it's all right if that sat out, while we were at this party or such and such a thing. And our food was out in the car. What is okay there? If it's below 40 degrees, it should be okay?
Yeah. So
That's like a refrigerator?
Yeah, so I would guess that that bacteria doesn't grow on food as much in colder weather, especially if it's left in your car. I don't think the temperature within your car will be the same as, whatever the outside temperature is. So it's still better to get it into a fridge as quickly as you can.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the food would probably last a bit longer if you're in the colder weather.
So it's okay. And now our holiday parties, how long can we have those delicious buffets sitting out before we really need to get up from all the fun and say, I need to put the food away? How long can it be out?
I would say maybe an hour,
Okay.
especially things that's made with like mayonnaise, like your potato salads, your macaroni salads, that type of thing should be then refrigerated
All right.
because things can start to grow.
Oh, that's scary. Okay. We don't want anyone sick as families are gathering and having fun together over all these holidays this season. And so we appreciate that. So let's recap. Keep it below 40 degrees or above 145 degrees or 165 if it's meat.
Yes.
And don't let it sit out more than an hour.
Correct.
Okay, and that danger zone is between the 40 and 165.
Yes.
It's that part.
That zone there.
That's the zone where
Yes.
things can grow. So don't let that happen. Got it. All right. Wash our hands. And what else do we need to do to stay healthy? Final thoughts.
Stay home when you're sick.
Stay home when you're sick. Carolyn, you were going to say the same thing?
Yes. Stay home when
Absolutely.
you're sick.
Okay, if we have questions and want to talk to someone from the health department about these or anything, how do we reach you? Do you have a website?
We are at starkhealth.org. Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff on there. We'll put up a weekly flu report. We have TB stats. We have a lot of stuff. So, yeah, give us a visit.
Awesome. All right, we will be sure to check that out. Carolyn Jennings, Avi Joseph, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.